Hi, and welcome to my Tuesday evening live card making tutorial. This evening I have for you a bold floral birthday card using the Charming Day bundle. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Shelley Godby, and for 24 years I've been teaching you how to create hand-stamped smiles through my YouTube videos, my Stamping Smiles blog, and my mailing list. So let's have a look at this Charming Day bundle. Oh, Miss Danette is here, and Miss Cheryl and I were already chatting. This was one of the July online exclusives. And I've been having fun playing with this. Let me show you. Here you go. And yep. And so online exclusives, well, that means we don't know how long it'll be around. And we've been finding some online exclusives, not the July ones, but some of the others just without notice, they're just gone. But that's the thing. We just don't know how long. And this one is so beautiful, of course, because this reminds me of roses. This is what drew me, and then all these others, and I'll show you a couple of the cards I've already made with it. So this evening, I'm finally using my favorite stamp in here, but isn't that beautiful too? So it's all good. All right, and let's come back over to the chat and see who else has checked in, if anyone. Okay, well, I am so glad you are joining me. And there we go. All right, we'll get my blog back up there and who I am, because not everybody knows. All right, so the Charming Day bundle, here it is. And so we've got dies, open dies to die cut all of the images, and then some intricate dies, and we will use both. And so let's start with some stamping. And like I said, I'm going to use this big one. Oh, Miss Patricia is here here too. Hello. All right, so what I have here is some basic white cardstock. Whenever you're stamping on basic white cardstock, you absolutely want to use the basic white cardstock. Why? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because it has a smooth, tight finish to give you crisp, clean images. There you go. And Miss Kathy, she's from, well, just up the road. How fun is that? I'm assuming that's what she means, Luther, Michigan, just up the road from me. I mean, seriously, I could be there in a couple minutes. A clear block E. And our Clearmont blocks are so comfortable to hang on to, because you've got that groove and it's polished and rounded and comfortable. And, very, very good. Okay, so whenever my stamp is bigger than my ink pad, and I'll be using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad because I am going to be coloring with the Stampin' Blends, I put the stamp rubber side up and take the pad to the stamp instead of the stamp to the pad. So let's get this all good and inked up. Okay, I'm sure that's overkill. Habit. And let's stamp on our basic white cardstock. Want to press everywhere for a good image. And if you would do me a huge favor, please give my video a thumbs up and a share. I sure would appreciate that. And then come over and say hello. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? It's like, oh my goodness. Just every time you stamp it, I mean, that'd be pretty just stamped without even coloring, wouldn't it? All right, so we've got some die cutting to do, and I decided to add some black accents. And if you've seen my craft room and any other parts of my house, I really do love black as a neutral. And and I started off. Oh, do I have it? I started off. Oh, it's over here. Here we go. Let me show you. Cutting out of the the textures paper. I know it. It's right there. Here we go. Let me show you. I started by cutting out some of this, and I think I have the name right here. How did it just go right out of my head? Because this is an online exclusive to Botanical Textures. There we go. And here are the patterns in that. And I started by cutting it out by hand. And then I got smart. I thought, why am I doing that? We have intricate leaf dies. So hello. So that's what I have this over here, but we're going to turn it into self-adhesive die cut. But let me show you this while I was showing you that off. So aren't these patterns beautiful? Again, I really like black. I think it's a great neutral, and you're going to like how it makes the berry burst pop right off of my card. So these are beautiful and online exclusives, and like all the others, I can't tell you when it's going to disappear. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and won't that be pretty? The various colors on there. But to make my life easier, because I didn't do this first, I was using, I really like the Stampin' Seal, but our DSP is not as thick as our cardstock, and the stems are really very fine. They're tiny. And so I tore a leaf off, and I thought, okay, we got to do something better than that. So I have here the adhesive sheets. These come in 6x12 sheets. I purposely cut them smaller than the piece I'm going to die, the main piece, so I can put them on without overlapping. Whoops, there we go. They're a good adhesive, because if they overlap, it's really a lot of fun to get it off something intricate. And I cut them smaller because you don't want it to overlap. Okay, so that's all set. We're all set to turn that into a self-adhesive die cut. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And if I remember, I want to show you a couple of other backgrounds that I did and how I end up with what I ended up with. So what I have here is my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and just love this. This thing is amazing, and I love how it folds up. I mean, one pass through, even with intricate dies, it does the job. Okay, so I could use plate number 1 and plate number 2, because I'm going to be die cutting with these thin metal dies. And whenever you are, you need plate number 1 and plate number 2 to get to the appropriate thickness. Because if you don't have it thick enough, it won't die cut, and you don't want it too thick either. But instead, I use the magnetic platform, and I picked this up on Amazon. And there I have the code for you. And then it's also listed under the video. And you see all those little circles? Yep, those are the magnets. So regardless if I use plate number 1 and plate number 2, that comes with the purchase of a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I need a plate number 3, a cutting plate. All right. And so this is a Sizzix product that works with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but of course it also works in the Big Shot. Okay, so now I've got my cutting plate and then the cardstock that we just stamped. And I need my die. Oh, you know what I forgot to show you? Look at this. I have these stored on a magnet card, and I can show you that. These just keep my dies organized, so I'm not losing them. Super strong. I can't shake it off, but they still come off easily enough. I don't have to dig them up with a pair of scissors or anything. And this is a separate company from Stampin' Up. But they have the products to keep not just our dies all organized, your whole craft room. And then I slip them into one of these storage pockets. So if you'll follow my link over, you'll make sure you get a pocket and not a sleeve for the magnet cards. And then, when I get industrious, I really do put the label on, but I also slip it right in the back so I can read it. And so there we go. I wanted you to see those because, yeah, they're just my favorite thing because they keep me so organized. Okay. All right. So I need that die that I just took off. And this, I like to drop it, all those magnets, and let it find a magnet so I'm not chasing magnets. There we go. And center around this. And if you've been following me, I'll tell you, if I don't die cut this well, we'll just pretend I did. All right. And then to finish the sandwich, you need another plate number 3. So rotate your plates. That 3 doesn't have to be up in the corner. Rotate them around. Try not to always put it in the center, although I just did. Place it on there. If you scoot it on, you'll probably scoot the die. And what I like about the magnetic platform, I don't need to hold it with any kind of adhesive, a Post-it note, washi tape, whatever, it just holds in place. And because I have when I removed tape before, even a low tack tape, it tore the cardstock. I'm like, ooh. So this eliminates that need. Let's see how I did. Well, I'll be doggone. Huh. Okay. Woohoo. All right. And so here we have our Botanical Textures DSP we just did, and my intricate die. And the rough edge, that's the cutting edge. We'll place that down. And I'm going to place it where I'm going to get a nice variety. And again, with plate number 3, and that's good. I'm cutting it further. All right. And there we go. So when I did mine, like I said, I didn't have, I didn't put the adhesive sheet on it. So I need right here, woohoo, my take your pick tool. And these little poke out holes, there we go. I just need to get it started. And there's one. Isn't that sharp? Ugh, how it's variegated. And I want to grab some dark, so let's get up here. Okay, without. Perfect. And let's go ahead and do this. So life is good. And the online exclusives, oh my goodness, there are so many. I've got a link under the video. And, more and more and more keep showing up on the online exclusives. So that's something you'll want to check out and keep your eye on. And I talk about it all the time and link you over to it. But you really do want to go over and look, because if you haven't, some of my favorite products are over there, because the catalogs, the pages haven't gotten smaller, but the amount of product in it has. So they can show us a lot more samples, and so then they're putting some of those products in the online exclusives, and so the catalog is full of samples, but half the amount of products. So you really do have to go check out the online exclusives, or you'll be missing out. And Miss Jackie is here. Okay. And so our die cutting is done. Let's work on some of our other elements. I have some embossing to do, because with all the black, the greeting in black is going to be really sharp. We got the black and white, so these are our accents. And so on the black, I want to have that in white, and the best way to do that will be to emboss it. And I have here my Embossing Editions Toolkit. Fabulous. This has everything you need to be, well, besides the heat tool and the embossing powder, but this helps you be a really good embosser. And it starts off with the embossing buddy. And so you rub this on it, and this helps to keep the embossing powder from sticking anywhere except where the wet Versamark ink is. Okay. And so let me get here a piece of paper underneath me, because I got my black silicone mat. And this is, I just love this thing. You know what? I even have that for you too. And I need this for also, I'm trying to think, when I'm coloring with the Stampin' Blends, you want to be on a non-porous surface. And so, we have the glass mat, but the silicone mat protects my surface. Adhesive doesn't stick to it. And then the blends, the color doesn't just absorb into if you're stamping on paper. So we've got that, and I like that. All right. So, but the black on the black isn't the easiest for me to see when I'm stamping. And so, and then these, oh, amazing. We're going to hang on. I'm going to use this to hang on while I'm heating it up, so I'm not burning my little Tootsies like I used to. And then the tray will catch all the extra powder. So let's start with stamping, and I'm using the Versamark. Here we go. And oh, Miss Adelaide made it, and Miss Joan, fantastic. All right. And I am using, because I told you it's a birthday card, the happy birthday. Well, that's included in the stamp set. And so we got thanks for being you. Happy birthday. Can't wait to see you again soon. Hey, and you made my day. So some nice. So let's get this inked up. All right. And come over here and stamp. And hopefully I do a decent job because this is a tight fit, admittedly. Ooh, it's looking pretty decent. Oh, you can see that. See, it's just a shade or two darker. And so not the easiest thing to see, but it's catching in the light this evening. So you know what? Our ink pads store themselves, the pad part, upside down, right? True, store themselves upside down. Well, these don't. So I flip it over and I do store it upside down. That keeps the ink to the top. Just a little tip. All right, so let's bring over my tray. And then I have the white, the opaque bright white from the Basics Wow embossing powder. You know, and all the supplies I'm using are listed under the video. And unless I tell you otherwise, they're available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. So I'll sprinkle this on and see that tray catches all that precious stuff because it will last a long time. And look how great that embossing buddy did. I don't have little dots all over the place. And if I hadn't, I would. And that's not a great look. And I'm not saying I got every last one of them. We'll find out in just a second, but it sure eliminated most of them. So I am going to be using this heat tool that gets super, super hot. Hotter than your hair dryer. You would not want to use this on your hair. And that's why a hair dryer isn't hot enough. You need this intense heat. Well, a little piece like this, my fingers, I mean, we've all been through it. And we try to use a clothespin. Yeah, not the best. Where these tweezers, they're nice and strong because they're metal, but the tip is plastic so the heat doesn't radiate up. And then, so I squeeze to get it on and then let go. I love this. I don't have to have that death grip on the whole time because my hands cramp up. So, all right, so the heat tool has two settings. The first one would be to dry the ink. Say I was using a pigment ink like our white craft, and I wanted to, encourage it along to dry because the pigment takes longer. I would do that. But for the embossing, we're going to go up to 2, and then I'll hold this until I see it go from this powdery white, which is stinking cool that you can see the white on the black, but it's about to get a lot better. There we go. And I just hold it. There we go. Look. And then once it starts heating up that paper, it goes real quickly. And for me, this is always a wow. It just always tickles me to no end. And then when it gets more opaque against that black, isn't that sharp? I mean, you can emboss on other colors, of course, but wow, it's always really sharp on dark. And there we go. And so we've got, metallics and the basics. And there we go. So we have that element. And our background, I'm going to be using the Painted Stripes stamp. And I've used this before, but not enough. I really, really love background stamps. And Miss Adelaide is reminding you, yes, please do give my video a thumbs up and a share. I sure appreciate that. And of course, come over and say hello and, tell me what you like about what I'm doing with the card. And so this is one big stamp, and I have this mounted on a clear block F. All right, so here's the trick for background stamps. I used to take my cardstock, ink it up, and hover over top and hope that I got it straight. Nope, those days are over. We're going to turn it up, and remember the stamp is bigger than the stamp pad, so this is what we do. And bubble bath. I want to show you a couple other colors I tried when we're done. And I really preferred this. So the Bubble Bath Classic Stampin' Pad. And, our firm foam pads make doing the background stamps so much easier. When we had all felt pads, you could see the lines on it. This line would overlap, and then we'd use a brayer, and this just got so easy with these firm foam pads because it inks it up beautifully. And I love how it fades in and out. It's just the coolest stamp. And a background just changes everything. Okay, so our days of hovering are over. All right, Miss Jackie. Well, you know what? The replay will be there. And so instead of hovering over it, we're just going to place it on there. And this is really important when you need something to be straight. I mean, I'd like my stripes to be straight. And then I've got a piece of paper. So now I can rub everywhere and not get my fingers all inky. And this was a big game changer. I really do like background stamps. They just fill in for us. You know, a lot like DSP, but never have to worry about running out of a background stamp. Okay, so let's see what we have. And isn't that beautiful? And I chose a light color to keep it nice and subtle. So here are our elements. And now to color. And I chose, here we go, shaded spruce for the leaves. So rich with the berry burst. Isn't that pretty? And you could see that in that little sneak peek. And I'm going to start with the shading before I color. I don't know that there's a right or wrong. Oh, in this brush, I'll brush that embossing powder back into the jar. That's part of that Embossing Additions toolkit. But for this one, I decided to start with the shading, and then we will go to coloring it. And you want to work in a small area so everything stays nice and wet for you. So that stem, or I mean oh, what am I trying to think of? I know what that is. Not the stem, the dewdrop up the center. That just went out of my head, but that's okay. For now, it's the dewdrop. And so one at a time, because if I do it while it's still wet, the colors will blend better, and that's what these are, Stampin' Blends. The vein, there we go. All right, and so that leaf is underneath this leaf and underneath the flower petal. So it would get it would shade. So I'm making that a little bit darker and filling that in. And that just makes it look more natural. And all right, so there we have our vein. A little bit over here shaded. If you want, you can come up and play around, add some more, but work in a very small area so you can grab it when it's still wet to shade it. Okay, and for the because these were smaller leaves, for the the vein, I was using the bullet end and then the brush end for the other. And so there were quite a few, and I thought, oh, let's just go ahead and have this done. There we go. So very, very simple to do. And now for our larger flowers. And I wanted to show you when I started designing this, I wasn't sure where I was going, and I thought for sure I would use the coordinating floral charm designer series paper. Isn't this beautiful? So you're seeing the both sides, A and B. And so we've got all these cool colors and then these warm colors. So just gorgeous paper. Again, an online exclusives. So we just don't know when any of this will sell out. Well, I'm showing you this because I was looking at this pattern with the roses, and that's where my colors came from. Although, shaded spruce isn't listed in there, but it kind of looks like that to me, but it's not listed. Anyway, but see how dark that center was? So that's when I grabbed, because Blackberry Bliss is another one of the colors. I wasn't brave enough to go with the dark. I just have the light Blackberry Bliss. But I thought, okay, let's mimic that. And I will do some of this right here. And it's fun to look at the designer series paper to get ideas from it for your coloring. And while that's wet, let's do some of this. Okay, so I am going to use again that bullet. And we were just talking about how one thing causes a shadow. So let's go around this with the dark berry burst and then finish that layer of the petal. There we go. And we'll just keep doing that. And that one will create It's not a big one, so it won't be a lot. And color in. And this is why I went ahead and colored in, had the green done, because it is that same idea for those. And all right, let's finish this one. This is so beautiful. I'm not sure if my artist who did my Layers of Beauty was the artist for this, but I wouldn't be surprised. And that petal is overlapping, so we'll come over here. And you can always go back and add more shading. I was going to say you can't take it away, but we do have the color lifter that you could. And as it dries, it lightens up. And you see how that small area. Now, if you really wanted the shading to be really obvious, or more obvious, I should say, let it dry. If I really do want my colors to blend. And as it dries, it gets to be more, you can see it a lot better later. Just on here even, you can see where so let's do this. So see, it's really easy. You just look to see what's overlapping. And if you didn't do it, it would be okay. I'd like to learn a lot more tricks. So, coloring is just so soothing, isn't it? All right, so let's come over here. I got down into here. Like I said, I could add it after as well. And I used to do all the coloring and then shade. And as long as, especially like I'm saying, it's wet, it'll be just fine. Miss Debbie just loves coloring the flowers. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I often look up pictures of real flowers so I can see the colors. And for this one, I thought I was going to use the designer street paper, so I stayed with the Stampin' Up colors. But I get it. I really do like doing the realistic ones too. And I'm resisting my urge that everything has to be colored in. And let's start in that center again. That little extra dark, just like the DSP. And And so we're almost done. This won't take terribly long because this one's even tinier. And I was always concerned. I was constantly putting my caps back on, but I'm not just walking away and letting these dry. I am not having any trouble at all by leaving them open while I'm coloring like this. Now, I wouldn't go off and have lunch. And then, all right. You know what's nice too about the bullet end, as opposed to the other, I know which one I'm picking up without needing to read it. Whoops. Okay. I said whoops because whoops, I'm doing more than one petal, but this is a small area. I'm sure that's still wet for me to finish. Okay. Oh, one more. There we go. Let's go ahead and close that. And there we have it. And your heart rate just goes down, and it's just a lot of fun. Okay, stop, Shelly. I'm filling in all the white. That is okay. So we had that little bit of Blackberry Bliss that blended in, and then the Berry Burst with the shaded spruce. Now we have our black accents. So let's start putting this all together, and I've got embellishments besides. So let me show you. So I first did Berry Burst. It's like, oh, that is vibrant. And it was more vibrant because, of course it was white. And I thought, okay, I need to tone that down. And so then, because I really do like black, I went to smoky slate. Thought, ooh, that's really pretty. Then when I was, adding this in, I thought, well, they'll blend in with it. That'll be cool. And I still like it, but obviously I chose the bubble bath, and it is really pretty with this. Okay, so let's start with this. We need to get that backing off because you remember this is a self-adhesive die cut, and finding out where the break is. Looks like I managed to, there's no way. Okay, here we go. Let's see, where is that take your pick tool? Let's get it started. When you have the separate pieces, usually I can find the break easier. I'm not seeing it, but here we go. We'll get that going. And the adhesive sheets just make, there we go. Oh, there was the break. Make it, really easy, and it's going to stick well and everything else. Because I can use liquid glue, but I don't know. I'm just a hot mess with the liquid glue. It squirts out all over, and then I've got glue all over the front of my card. And so, I've shown you the sticky dots before, or these adhesive sheets are usually a better option for me. Okay, but this is really very fine. And I'm trying to find, oh, and there we go. I still managed to break it. Isn't live just so much fun? But it'll be okay. I'll get it together, because this is really super intricate. If you could see my face, I'm blushing because I tore it, but you know what? Things happen. And this is so not the end of the world. Oh, there we go. Once you get it, it does come off easy. I just have to get it going. All right, you know what? This is another reason for that silicone. I won't lose any of the stickiness, and then it won't be sticking to me. All right, and so we've got the break here. I just need to, let's work on one that's, not so, there we go, so fine that makes it easy to tear. The leaves are a lot bigger and can handle that. Oh, and that was the break on it. Okay, there we go. Okay, super easy. Whew. And we will fix that. And let's put that down. One more. Yay. Yeah, Miss Shirley, it happens to all of us. Okay. Oh, there, that break is easy. This one I can see. The other one, I just couldn't even see the break. Like, where'd it go? And then and see these little pieces are coming out that help make it so intricate. That little die cut in there, it pulled it right out. That little center. Okay, that's how it's supposed to go. Fantastic. And if this didn't get stuck down, it sure wouldn't be the end of the world, because everything else will be sticking. There's a little bit more of a backing on here. Oh, just got it. Okay. So I would like the one with the darkest, the one I tore. Shh. I would like that at the top. And a lot of it will get covered up. Oh, but I do want that. Okay, so let's just place that. And look at that. Nobody will know. All right, so we've got that. Let's not press until I can see that I'm happy with my placement. And okay, so let's place this. See, I really wanted that dark up there, and where I did break it a little bit, I said it's covered up, it's all good. Let's bring this down a little bit more. Okay, happy. So place, 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 place. And what I have here, I tried some different colors. I tried black. I tried berry burst with a berry burst. I liked the contrast. So the idea of the smoky slate, I ended up using it. I like the contrast on here. And for this, I will use my Stampin' Seal. And I put my finger where it's a little opaque. Sometimes I have to help it out. For me, an inch in each corner works really well. And I want to curve this. There we go. A little cattywampus. Not a huge cattywampus, but a little. And here we go. And this a little bit there. Isn't that pretty? How the berry burst peeks out. And my cardinal rule, I need to pick this up. Can't be going off the edge of my card base because I need this to fit in the envelope. So let's gently pick this up. Yeah, it is a good adhesive, the adhesive sheets. There we go. But if I'm gentle and patient. Okay, so we're where we want to be. Good, good, good. Okay. And so now we will use my favorite adhesive of all times. Oh, I need to bring the whole thing with me so you can see it because, you know, there may be some people who are new to Stampin' Up. Stampin' Dimensionals, these foam adhesive dots, giving this a lift. I didn't lift any of the other layers. I'm just doing everything to make our bold berry burst flowers just steal the show. Okay. And so right there, if it doesn't just lift off like that, press down with your thumbnail, it makes that edge pop up. So you can get this off very easily. Okay. And rotate this. Again, making sure I've got that pretty black peeking out. And we have our happy birthday. And behind that, I do want to, and this is from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack, I've got the basic black, have a pretty black bow on my black accents. And I don't know if you saw my other video, but I've learned this recently. For all of you who don't like tying bows, oh, you are going to love this. So mini glue dots. Okay, so I'm going to take one of these off of here. And I try to avoid touching them because I want their extreme stickiness. And I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to use my thumbnail. There we go. Still. And press into here my baker's twine. Make my loop. And I want a nice big loop. Because sometimes you do baker's twine, it gets twisted on you and you know, then I'm tearing it apart. Come over here, make another loop. And you can do this when it's going to be hidden. And it will be with our greeting. Oh, Miss Cheryl. Okay, yeah, I did this a couple weeks ago. And it's just like, oh, game changer. And our greeting. And see, once this is over there, you've got the loops. No one will know. All right, so I need to get up and over it. So what I'm going to do is use, oh, I had one just in case. Okay, say, why do I see writing on the back? I didn't do that twice. I'm going to come back with the Stampin' Dimensionals. I had that off and just grabbed the wrong one, but it's all good. And I can't get too far over because it was sticking on the card. I needed to stay up on top. So we'll keep those good and close. And there. And now we've got the loops. Let's pull that down. Fantastic. And then for our finishing touch. Oh, Miss Rhonda made it to another live. Well, it's becoming a habit, huh? And so, so glad you're here. The Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots, part of the coordinating products with the whole Charming Day, the DSP and the bundle and all that. And so let's do this. I always press down on them. Oh, thank you, Miss Molly. I press down on the embellishment so the adhesive sticks to the embellishment and not the acetate sheet. right, so let's come up over here. We have 2 sizes up over in there. And then let's grab a small one. And there we go. And pretty easy to make. Oh, thank you, Miss Danette. Oh, the baker's twine. Yeah, my friend Cherie was over playing with me, and she says, "Hey, I saw someone," and I said, "Okay," and I tried it and went, "Okay, that's stinking cool." So pretty simple, but isn't that pretty? And I just love the accents of the black leaves. And you've got the black on here. So not a lot of black, but just the black accents. And I showed you how I tried those other colors. And now, aren't you glad I did the bubble bath and not that? That would have been, I think a little too subdued. And I was telling you, so the first card I made, I copied one of theirs, and that was that smaller flower. That is so pretty, even though I thought for sure the first one I would do would be the big one. That smaller flower just stamped repeatedly to make a background. Oh, and the stems added in. So super sweet. And then I was playing with the intricate dies in here. So the single one and the leaves, playing with the two-tone cardstock. Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done. I almost forgot. The two-tone cardstock did this, and then embossed, where you can reveal some of that through. And we've got the 2 different colors of the garden green. So this is just a beautiful, beautiful bundle. I almost forgot. I also used Wink of Stella. And on this one, only on the flowers, because they are my focal point. And this is subtle, but it is a really pretty touch. I was looking at it thinking, boy, this is pretty, but I don't know if it's as pretty. And this was it. This was that finishing touch. All right. And I don't know that you can see it on the camera, but I'm telling you, this really does add a lot, something so simple. Can you see that little bit of, there you go. I can see a little bit of that. Now it's done. And look at that shimmer with the shimmer dots, just oh so coordinated. So there we go. Well, thank you, Miss Patricia. Miss Adelaide, I would have used black. Oh, she wouldn't use black. That's okay, Miss Adelaide. When you make it, you'll have to, the gold or silver. Thought about it, but it's all good. I love black. And thank you, Miss Cheryl. And so there we go. Pretty simple card, but easy to make and some fun elements to it with the Charming Day bundle. That is an online exclusives, and just letting you know, we're finding more and more online exclusives we go over and they're just gone. We don't get any warning because there's not an end date to them. So there are some that get replenished, others when the supplies run out, they just aren't in the online store anymore. And so if you're enjoying this, I recommend you go over and get it. And all the supplies are listed below the video and available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. And my sample, let's see if that looks very different. Pretty much the same. Where I hit that a little bit darker. And so we've got some variation, but other than that, pretty much the same. The flower rotated up a little bit more. It's all good. And so, yep, the Charming Day bundle. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's 3 different cards with it, and I'm enjoying it oh so much. And if you're just joining us, and if you have not yet, give my video a thumbs up and a share, please do. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to hang around for a little bit so you can ask any questions if you have them. There we go. And I'm going to put the chat up here so I can see and come back. Whoops. You know what? Let's undo that. I need to come back first. There we go. All right, because we have the camera. We didn't lose the camera. Now let's put up the chat. Okay, life is good. Well, oh, you are so welcome, Miss Shirley. I'm so glad you all made it this evening. Because, I am here every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then most times you'll find me here another day of the week. But that's why you need to subscribe, because if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you get notified when I'm getting ready to go live, or if I upload a video on YouTube, you get a notification of that. So hit that subscribe button, and um, just wonder what could be done. All right. So I was reading. Yeah, playing around. You can just have so much fun playing. Uh, so uh, so subscribe so you'll get notified when, plan on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Come and join me and see what I've got in store with you, and then subscribe so you'll get notified. Because I can't say I'm always here on a Friday, and last time I did it at 11 a.m., which was different, and so it gives me another chance to come over. That's why you want to subscribe. So hit that subscribe button and follow me. Well, thank you, Miss Rhonda. So I'm not seeing any questions, but I sure appreciate all of your comments so much. You just encourage me to want to just keep making more cards and coming and being live with you. So it's that time. I'm going to thank you again. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Good evening, and God bless.